What's up, crypto fam? Welcome back to the Crypto Breakdown. I am your host, Ryan Matta. In today's video, I'm going to teach you guys a trading strategy that, if done correctly, will have a 95 to 100% win rate. This is legit like having your own crypto money printer. But spoiler alert, you don't need any $1,000 indicator, you don't need to be a pro trader, and no, I'm not going to sell you a digital course. Mine's free, links down in the description. This strategy is so simple that a hexaking could do it. Ready? Let's dive deep. So let's say that the price of Bitcoin is at $20,000 and you open a short for $1,000 using 5x leverage. In this trade, your liquidation price should be 20% above your entry position. So what that means is if you did not use a stop loss and price hits $24,000, you would get liquidated. But what if you doubled that position and you added another $1,000 to your trade right before your liquidation price at $23,999? That would move your entry position up to $22,000 and it would move your liquidation price up to $26,400. So what happens if price keeps going up and you double your position and you add another $2,000 to your trade $1 before your liquidation price at $26,399? You guessed it. My entry price would move up to $24,200 and my liquidation price would move up to $29,040. It's just like at the blackjack table. If you bet $5 and you lose, bet $5 again. If you lose again, bet $10. If you lose again, bet $20. You just keep doubling your bet until eventually you break even. But with crypto, because we have indicators and charts, we can really tip the scale in our favor. You see, if your first trade was $20,000 and you double your position, it moves your entry price up. If your entry price moves up, so does your liquidation price. Now, if you go back to the charts and back test this strategy, it's really going to blow your mind. Just ask yourself this question. In a bear market, when has any project with a $5 billion market cap ever ran up more than 100% without crashing by 25 to 50% or retracing? Let's start with the rules so you don't demolish your portfolio. Rule number 1, we only short. Rule number 2, we don't use stop losses. Rule number 3, we only short altcoins that have a $5 billion market cap or higher. If you're new to crypto, I suggest that you only short ETH and BTC. The higher the market cap, the better this strategy works. Rule number 4, the only indicator we use is RSI, settings at 30, and we only short off the 4-hour time frame. Rule number 5, you always double your position. Rule number 6, you never add to your position until you're 0.2% away from your stop loss. Rule number 7, and the most important of them all, and most people don't listen to this and they will get wrecked. You have to test this strategy out on BYBIT testnet and you have to turn $10,000 into $100,000 using this exact strategy before you can try it with real money. I mean, why waste real money when you can practice trading with play money on an exchange that is the exact same thing as the real thing? BYBIT Testnet Exchange is off the hook. Rule number 8, reread rule number 7. Rule number 9, reread rule number 7 one more time. Rule number 10, don't change the rules. So if you swing over to my YouTube channel and you watch my BYBIT playlist, it'll teach you everything you need to know about BYBIT. How to set up an account, how to set up a testnet account, how to long versus short, and what is the best VPN. So let's dive right in. The first thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to set up our chart. If you've never used TradingView before, pause this video, search how to set up charts on TradingView, and look for the video at this thumbnail. So now that you have your chart set up, they should look like this. The only thing that we are looking for is the 4-hour RSI indicator to break above the 70 level on RSI. And side note, this strategy does not work on KuCoin or any other shady exchanges. I would only use BYBIT. And hell, if I couldn't trade on BYBIT, I wouldn't even waste my time trading. I'll explain at the end of this video. So I want you to do me a favor. Pick a number 1 through 15. And you know what? Let's just do it together and we'll use a random number generator on Google. And check that out. Mine's number 5. Now, if we swing over to CoinMarketCap and we check out what coin is number 5, we can see that Binance BNB coin is number 5. Now let's swing back over to the charts and take a look at BNB and back test this strategy. So let's start with the November 1st indicator. So now that we got our charts up, what we are looking for is the 4-hour to be breaking above the 70 level. The 70 level of this yellow dotted line. So when did BNB first break above this level? We can see our entry position would have been at 620, and this trade we wouldn't have had to add any to. It just broke down right after. So we would have shorted at 620. Our next trade we would have added at about 20%, and I always say 20%, but it's like 18 something, 17 something, 19 something. And if we swing over to BYBIT on the right hand side here, we can see our liquidation calculator. I have a video that teaches you how to use your liquidation calculator. And if we say our first trade was at 620, our liquidation price wouldn't have been until 737. So we would not have had to add to this position. So we would have entered the trade and it would have broke down and crashed, and heck, you could have made easy 20%, could have rode it all the way down here to 21%. Now this one gets a little bit better. So our first entry position on this trade would have been at about $399. If we put up our indicator and we measure up, 20% would have been adding to this position at about $484. So if we would have added to our position at $482, what that does is it splits the difference. So if I measure up 20%, if I add $1,000 here and $1,000 there, it's gonna bring my entry price up by 50%. Boom, right there. So my entry price would then move up to $445 and my liquidation price would have been $529. So I would have set another fill position at probably $527 and $526. It did not hit. So you always want to make sure that you're adding your liquidation price right before. I mean, not like a penny before, but you know, 0.2, 0.3, so a little bit before. So you would have added to this position twice, and then what would have happened? Your entry price would have been $545, and lo and behold, 27%. Now let's say you caught a really bad one and you did a double top on the 4-hour RSI. You put one in high here, altcoin season was kicking off, and you rallied up and did it one more time. So your first entry position would have been at 360, your second would have been at 429, your third at 480, your fifth at 531, and your sixth at 596. So I tell new traders it's 100, 100, 200, 400, and 800. By the time you would have got up here, you would have had a $1,600 trade, and your entry position after you added every single time, because you're always, so it's going to constantly bring your entry price up in proper increments. So you would have went from 530 entry to 400 to 446 to 496 to 549. So your last entry position would have been at 549. That would have put you right here at 549, and then boom, price would have broke down. But let's say you didn't take profits there. You would have had to add one more time at 6,500. So by the time you got up here, you would have had a $3,200 short, because you're going to keep doubling your position. And then guess what? It finally broke down. And you're talking about having a $3,200 short with a 65% gain. You see, what we're looking for is just for the 4-hour RSI to break above the 70 level on RSI. PS, don't be a 2-pump chump and premature it. If you take a look at the chart, the asset almost never ever peaks right when RSI is broken above the 4-hour. A lot of the times it will try to run up one last time. So if you start shorting too early, you can get yourself in a real pickle. And this is why we don't use stop losses. You see, every time you add to your position, it brings up your stop loss. And this is why you always follow rule number 5. You always double your position and you never add early. You need your entry price to move up in proper increments in this formation, or this strategy does not work. You don't use 3x, you don't use 2x, you have to use 5x, because you have to add, and then it has to bring up your position and add again. If you separate that gap and you use 3x and you're only adding, you know, once in a blue moon, you're going to be farther away than 20%. So when you have a retrace, it's going to be harder to exit that position because your gaps are so far. It won't bring up your entry point quick enough. And this is also why we don't trade low cap projects. With low market caps, they can run up 500% in a few days, and it's literally impossible to scale unless you got money like Elon Musk. So stick with mega caps. So if you want to do me a favor, if anybody in the squad has been using this strategy, could you do me a favor and drop some comments below and let everybody that hasn't used this strategy know how it's been working for you. And if you're new to the channel, come back in 48 to 72 hours after this video launches and read the comments and hear from every one of my subscribers firsthand. The only reason I trade on BYBIT is because BYBIT uses what's called the fair market price. That means that BYBIT takes the price of Bitcoin on 6 different exchanges. It averages all those prices. So it takes the price of Bitcoin on Binance, KuCoin, Kraken, Coinbase, and it averages them together, and then it sets the market price. You see this little brown line here behind the candles? In order for your trade to get liquidated on BYBIT, the market price needs to hit your liquidation price. That means that BYBIT can't just push the price of Bitcoin up by an extra $50 to liquidate a ton of trades. and then crash the market after that. And when I open a trade on BYBIT, if the price of Bitcoin is $20,000 and I hit market into that trade, my trade opens at $20,000 every single time. I'm never above that trade. I'm never behind that trade, unlike Bitcoin. So that's a wrap, squad. I hope you all take this strategy for a test drive. Good vibes always, crypto fam, and I'll catch you guys in the live streams tonight.